Today we're going to create the color plan for our pinch pot planter. I'm going to begin by opening Adobe Sketch. I'll start a new project by clicking the blue plus sign on the bottom right corner. I'm going to select standard book or portrait format. Here I'm going to begin by importing the image of my finished planter so that I can go ahead and plan for the color. I'll choose the plus sign on the right hand side and select Image Layer. Here I'll choose a photo from my iPad. I'm going to go ahead and select one of the photographs I took of my little pinch pot planter. I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit larger and select Done. I'm also going to bring in an image I took of my paint palette. I wanted to be able to grab the colors using the color picker tool here in the app. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of like tuck it up in the corner. Maybe I'll put it on the left hand side. And I'm going to get rid of it later. So I'll go ahead and click Done. So now I'm ready to start working on my color palette. So I'm going to begin by moving my sketch layer, and I'm going to select the blending mode of multiply on my image. Okay, so for this planter, I wanted it to be really fun, really bright and pop. And I imagined myself putting a nice bright green plant in it. So I wanted to select these kind of oranges and pinks to create a really fun, kind of bright, almost tropical kind of color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start layering. I like to grab kind of a larger brush and start kind of laying the color on top. I'm going to reduce my flow even more. I'm going to make sure that we are on multiply here. Okay, so I am going to just kind of layer on this tropical peachy color, and I like to work light to dark so that way I can layer as I go. So I know that this is going to be one of my lighter colors, so I'm going to just go ahead, and I think I'm going to make that kind of swirly top a different color. But what I want to make sure I do is I pay close attention to things like this upper lip of my pinch pot. I want that to also be this kind of peachy color. So I'm going to make sure that I go ahead and fill that area as well. I don't want to forget to paint that or else it'll look unfinished, right? So I'm just going to carefully paint that. And if I go outside the edges, I can always just go back in with my eraser later. So adjust the brush. Make it larger, smaller, depending on if you're doing large areas or small areas, so that it meets your needs. And I think I might then go back and, like I said, grab the eraser and clean up the edges when I'm kind of done with that color. So making it really neat. I think I'm going to make my tripod feet a different color. So I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to hold off and see what I think. So you can either clean up as you go or clean up at the end. Totally up to you. So from there, I might go ahead and choose another color. So I really wanted these kind of bright, fun, punchy colors. So I'm now gonna click and hold on my color and select the pink. So I really love this nice pink that I have here. And I think I'm going to go ahead and use it on my kind of like swirly coils. And I'm not actually going to paint the inside of this pot because I'm gonna put a plant inside, so nobody's really gonna see it. So I don't really need to do that, but I do want to make sure I get the edges really well. I'm gonna paint like the inside of this coil. So the back here, I would do, you know, these as well, because you would see them through on the other side, but I wouldn't necessarily do the pinch pot as a whole. So again, I can go back and kind of clean up my messy brush here later. So I might also go ahead and, you know, I might go over it a second time so it's like a really rich saturated color. Remember that you can kind of build your color when you're working with watercolors. And I think I might even do my Apple Pencil just died. So I think I might also do the legs in this magenta as well. So I'll try that. And then I might think about using that kind of dry brush technique to catch some of the higher areas of my stamped pinch pot body. So what I might do, just gonna do this really quick, is I might choose another color here. So maybe I'll actually grab this kind of darker orange and really drop the flow, and I might kind of, you know, add a little bit of contrast with a dry brushing technique. You know, maybe I'll go in like different directions to catch the high areas, and that will actually leave the stamped areas really bright orange. I might even go in and lighten those areas up some as well. So I might add, I'm gonna increase my flow, some of this brighter orange, yellowy orange inside. And as you can see, it creates kind of like way more contrast and kind of brings out these areas that have been pressed in. And although it's subtle, it can be really, really effective. So the change in color isn't super dramatic, but it's enough that it stands out, but also doesn't have to be perfect. So I tend to choose color palettes that really go well together, that are kind of analogous, so next to each other on the color wheel, so that they can kind of blend and feed off of each other well, as well as like not really show big mistakes. So once I feel good about that overall, I'm gonna go in and just clean things up and make this color plan look really nice and neat and tidy. I'll go back in with my pink and adjust that as well. And then I'll go ahead and save it to my camera roll by going ahead and hitting the share button and then image, and then I'll be ready to submit.